In this video, I'm going to share the process that I'm using to memorize the Shurangama mantra. This is the most honored, the most revered mantra in all of the Buddha's teachings, all of the mantras that are given. It's considered to be the foremost, and it's made very clear that no one except the Buddha can understand this mantra fully, and that if anyone were to try to fully extol the virtues and benefits of this mantra, that an entire lifetime couldn't suffice, that in fact, infinite time couldn't suffice. So basically, if you're able to, if you're a sincere Buddhist and you have embraced the Mahayana, then learning this mantra is a very good idea. It takes about 15 minutes to recite. I'm going to be learning it in the Sanskrit version because I speak English and Sanskrit is the easiest for me. And I'm familiar with some Sanskrit words already. Just over the years, I've run into different ones and have some understanding of them. So that's nice as well. I have had a little bit of exposure to this mantra in Vietnamese. I've recited it maybe a dozen times or so in Vietnamese. And so I have a bit of a grounding in some of the rhythm and some of the words as I'm going through to learn it in Sanskrit. It's pretty familiar. But I want to show you a way to make this an approachable task because a 15-minute mantra seems like it could be very difficult to memorize. My basic plan is that every day I memorize at least 1 minute. Then by about 2 weeks, I'll have the whole mantra memorized. Now, as it goes on, I'll have to devote more time to maintaining what I know. Because in the beginning, I'm only having to recite the first minute, and then the next day, the first 2 minutes. And at some point, I'll, break it up and just recite portions as I'm memorizing the next portions. But the beginning part's pretty simple. So this is the first video in the series, and this will help you with the beginning of learning how to recite this mantra from memory. And this is not the only way, but this is the way I'm using. So let's go ahead and pull up the mantra. I've already started this process, so I have a little bit memorized. So far, I have Nama Sarva Buddha Bodhisattvaya Nama Saptanam Samyak Sambuddha Kotinam Sa Sravaka Samganam Namo Loke Arhatam Nama Srotapananam Nama Sakridagamanam Nama Anagamanam Namo Loke Samyag Gatanam Samyak Prati Pananam Namo Devarsanam Nama Siddha Vidya Dararsanam Sapanugraha Samarthanan Namo Brahmane Nama Indraya Namo Bhagavate Rudraya Umapati Sahiyaya Nama Narayanaya Lakshmi Pamcha Mahamudra. And then that's where I get stopped. So if there's something that I don't remember from what I previously memorized, then when it's revealed to me, I go back and I check. So first, I did not miss any major things, but I could not remember if it was Namo Bhagavate Rudraya or Nama, and Namo Bhagavate Narayanaya. So then I just make a note of it. It's Namo, Namo. This is one of the patterns I pay attention to, right? We have Nama, Nama, Namo, Nama, Nama, Namo, Namo, Nama, Namo, Namo, Namo. And from this point on, they're actually all Namo. So that's really helpful. There are little mechanisms within these mantras to trigger your awareness. So, like here, we're going through Namo Loke Arhatam. That's starting praising the Arhats. And there's different stages of Arhat. Srotapananam is the Srotapana state. Sakradagamanam is the Sakradagaman state. Anagamanam. And you can look those up and they all have meanings. You don't need to know the meanings of these, but if you're already familiar with some Sanskrit, it will help with the memorization because you begin to have a little bit of an understanding of what's going on. And if you already know, say, the Nilankantha Dharani, especially in Sanskrit, then you're going to recognize that there are some just common combinations like Siddha Vidyadhara. Like that's in the Nilankantha Dharani. And there's a bunch that are in the Nilankantha Dharani. Bodhisattvaya. It looks like Bodhisattvaya, but it's if you Indian, the B's and the V's are very close. Bodhisattvaya, kind of like Spanish actually. So in this last recitation, right, I didn't know Namo, the Namo, and then here, Lakshmi Pamcha Mahamudra Namaskritaya. So I'll go Lakshmi Pamcha Mahamudra Namakritaya. Namaskritaya. Lakshmi Pamcha Mahamudra Namaskritaya. Lakshmi Pamcha Mahamudra Namaskritaya. Lakshmi Pamcha Mahamudra Namaskritaya. So then I'll try it over again and I'll say Nama Sarva Buddha Bodhisattvaya. Nama Saptanam Samyak Sambuddha Kotinam Sa Sravaka Samganam. Namo Loke Arhatam. Nama Srotapananam. Nama Sakradagamanam. Namo Anagamanam. Namo Loke Samyag Gatanam. Samyak Prati Pananam. Namo Devarsanam. Nama Siddha Vidya Dararsanam. Sapanugraha Samarthanam. Namo Brahmane. Nama Indraya. Namo Bhagavate Rudraya Umapati Sahayaya. Namo Naranai. Namo Naranaya. Narayanaya. Namo Narayanaya. Lakshmi Pamcha Mahamudra Namaskritaya. So there, like other than the Narayanaya, because Narayana is the being that this is referring to, and Narayanaya is a little more difficult for me to say because I'm used to saying Narayana. So then what I would do, I have that part down, so I'll pick my next line and I'll do Namo Bhagavate Mahakalaya. Namo Bhagavate Mahakalaya. So I'll say it, I'll visually say it until I can close my eyes. I'll look at it and say it until I can close my eyes and say Namo Bhagavate Mahakalaya. Namo Bhagavate Mahakalaya. Namo Bhagavate Mahakalaya. And like if there's a phrase I have a lot of trouble with, then I'll look it up. So like Sravaka, I kept forgetting it was Sravaka. I was wondering, is it Shramana? Is it Sraveka? So I looked up the meaning of Sravaka and right, it's hearer or listener. So that's referring to the voice hearers. And the voice hearers, their goal is to become an arhat. So the meaning helps with the memory in this case, even though the true meaning is beyond understanding. So long as we don't fall into the trap of thinking that we fully understand the meaning and that we're open to the mystical aspect, the mystery of the true meaning of the mantra, then it's safe to like use knowledge of the Sanskrit words to help memory. But we need to still hold on to that mystical aspect. So Namo Bhagavate Mahakalaya. Namo Bhagavate Mahakalaya. Namo Bhagavate Mahakalaya. I have that new line in, Namo Bhagavate Mahakalaya. So then I'll start over and see if I can add it. So, Nama Sarva Buddha Bodhisattvaya. Nama Saptanam Samyak Sambuddha Kotanam Sasravaka Samganam. Namo Loke Arhatam. Nama Srotapananam. Nama Sakradagamanam. Namo Anagamanam. Namo Loke Samyak Gatanam Samyak Prati Pananam. Namo Devarsanam. Nama Siddha Vidya Dararsanam. Sapanugraha Samarthanam. Namo Brahmane. Nama Indraya. Namo Bhagavate Rudraya Umapati Sahiyaya. Namo Narayanaya. Lakshmi Pamcha Mahamudra Namaskritaya. Namo Bhagavate Mahakalaya. All right, cool. I got the whole thing, got all my namas right. So I'll go on to the next line. Tripura Nagara Vidrapana Karaya. Tripura Nagara Vidrapana Karaya. So Tripura is also one of the Sanskrit words that's in the Nilakantha Dharani. And it's actually in a part of the Dharani that's always really drawn my attention. And for some reason, I really like that part. So little things like that, they're going to place within the overall mantra for me. They're going to be sort of like little memory spots that help me know what I'm moving towards and when I pass it, what then I'm going to next. Kind of like if you're going for a walk and there was a tree that you liked and you noticed the tree, kind of let you know where you are in the walk that you're going for. So Tripura Nagara Vidrapana Karaya. Tripura Nagara Vidrapana Karaya. Tripura Nagara Vidrapana Karaya. Tripura Nagara Vidrapana Karaya. Vidrapana Karaya. Tripura Nagara 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 Vidrapana Karaya. Tripura Nagana Nagara. Tripura Nagara Vidrapana Karaya. 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 So now let's see if I can add that in. Nama Sarva Buddha Bodhisattvaya. Nama Saptanam Samyak Sambuddha Kotanam Sasraveka Samganam, Namo Loke Arhatam, Nama Srotapananam, Nama Sakridagamanam, Nama Anagamanam, Namo Loke Samyag Gatanam, Samyak Prati Pananam, Namo Devarsanam, Nama Siddha Vidya Dararsanam, Sapanu Graha Samarthanam, Namo Brahmane, Nama Indraya, Namo Bhagavate Rudraya Umapati Sahayaya Namo Bhagavate Narayanaya Lakshmi Pamcha Mahamudra Namaskritaya. And see here I have difficulty, so I wait for it to come in. I know I have Tripura Nagara Vidrapana Karaya, but there's something before that. There's Kalaya, there's Mahakalaya, so there's and see I can't remember the line before the Tripura, so then I would check. Namo Bhagavate Mahakalaya. And my mind had a sense it was there's a Namo and there's a Mahakalaya, but it couldn't. And your mind craves it wants to fill in that gap. And so then you use that like that force of wanting to know it, that reaching and not having it, and then you Namo Bhagavate Mahakalaya, Tripura Nagara Vidrapana Karaya. Namo Bhagavate Mahakalaya, Tripura Nagara Vidrapana Karaya. Namo Bhagavate Mahakalaya, Tripura Nagara Vidrapana Karaya. And I might say, like, okay, what is Kalaya? I know Namo is honor, Bhagavate is Lord, Maha is great. That's a simplistic version of it. But what is Kalaya? Kalaya meaning in Sanskrit. That's going to help me relate to it more. Um, time is Kala, and Kalaya is a variation of the word Kala, which means time. Ah, so great time. So the Lord of great time. So it's honor to the Lord of great time. Expansive time, it's almost like perhaps even time beyond time. Um, but it doesn't matter the exact meaning, but that I have a concept that I can hold on to. So I have Kalaya, and I could get confused with Kalaya and Karaya. So to help me anchor the memory is I know that time is followed by karaya, kalaya is followed by karaya, an action, deed, or affair, a karaya. Work, action, deed, or affair. So then we have Tripura Nagara Vidrapana Karaya. Kalaya Karaya. Namo Bhagavate Maha Kalaya. Tripura Nagara Vidrapana Karaya. Okay, let's see if I got it now. Nama Sarva Buddha Bodhisattvaya. Nama Saptanam Samyak Sambuddha Kotanam Sasravaka Samganam. Namo Loke Arhatam. Nama Srotapananam. Nama Sakritagamanam. Namo Anagamanam. Namo Loke Samyak Gatanam Samyak Prati Pananam. Namo Devarsanam. Nama Siddha Vidya Dararsanam Sapanugraha Samarthanan. Namo Brahmane. Nama Indraya. And I'm wondering if it's Indraya or Indrayas, but I think it's Nama Indraya. Namo Bhagavate Rudraya Umapati Sahiyaya. Namo Bhagavate Narayanaya Lakshmi Pamcha Mahamudra Namaskritaya. Namo Bhagavate Mahakalaya Tripura Nagara Vidrapana Karaya. So that time, knowing Kalaya was coming and knowing Karaya was coming really helped me remember that. But the Namaskritaya made me wonder if it was Nama Indrayas, even though Indra, it's speaking of Indra, not multiple Indras, Indrayas, it wouldn't make sense. But every time I have a little uncertainty, I want to go back and check. It's like we're building a structure and we want it to be stable. We're laying down these foundations. So here you see the basic pattern. You don't need to watch me do this forever. You can see how my mind works. This technique should work for anyone, but some people may have more difficulty with memorization. And we just might need to, some people may need to go over it more than other people. If you do this after meditation, your mind will be more clear. And there are herbs that can help with laying down new memory. One of the big ones is Gotu kola. It's also known as Brahmi. This genus and species is Centinella asiatica. And the other one good is Bacopa. And Bacopa is, I think it's Bacopa monnieri is the genus species. And sometimes it's also known as Brahmi. Lion's mane mushroom is also quite good for memory. Ginkgo can be supportive of mental alertness and memory. But also, if you read different sutras, there are sutras that talk about how you can have greater memory. The Earth Store Bodhisattva Sutra, or the Sutra of the Past Vows of Earth Store Bodhisattva, it shares an approach to improve your memory. I think also the Medicine Buddha Sutra has approaches as well. But getting good sleep, having the mind focused, rested, and being single-minded is going to be key. And then the number of repetitions is just going to be different from person to person. So if I get some views on this, if I get some feedback that people find it helpful, if people want me to show how I do it as I get further into the mantra, please let me know. This is my biggest mantra yet. I mean, the Nilankanta Dharani is only 4 minutes. The Earth Store Bodhisattva mantra is only about 2 minutes. So if you haven't memorized those yet, it would be good to start with those to get a feel for it. And then maybe build up to the Shurangama, unless you're just totally resolved on memorizing the Shurangama. All of the Buddhas and the Venerable Masters, they all praise it. All the Mahayana masters praise this mantra as being incredibly efficacious in assisting our practice. So thanks for taking the time to watch this. I want to start doing live broadcasts of my recitations. I recite the Lotus Sutra weekly. but I can't do live broadcasts until I get a certain number of involvement in my channel as far as subscribers and views. So please subscribe and like this video and go check out my other ones and like them too. Get your friends to subscribe. Thank you very much. Hope you're having a great day. May all merit and virtue from this activity adorn the Buddha's Pure Lands, repaying the four kinds of kindness above and aiding those suffering in the paths below. May all of those who see and hear of this bring forth the resolve for enlightenment, and when this retribution body is over, be reborn together in ultimate bliss.